Royal Caribbean's Symphony of the Seas is like a giant floating city. And its residents, over 6,000 passengers a week. It can cost over $1 million a day to keep it all running, even though each cruiser pays as little as $100 daily. So to make a profit, the cruise line and all its crew have to be really efficient. It takes a staff of 2,400 people hustling to keep it all operating smoothly.
So we cover day and night productions.
The team moves supplies along secret crew member-only areas of the ship. From cramped ship kitchens, chefs pump out 30,000 meals every single day.
Very, very good. So this is what we do.
A bustling trash room handles all the waste, and the captain's bridge keeps the ship moving safely.
Like, wow, it's really crazy. The productions are super massive.
We go behind the scenes to see what it takes to sail one of the world's largest cruise ships. Symphony of the Seas was the globe's biggest ship for 4 years running. In 2022, the Wonder of the Seas took the title, beating out its older sister because it's slightly heavier. Back in late 2019, we boarded Symphony for a week to film all the happenings inside. The voyage started on a Saturday. This is turnaround day. Passengers disembark so new ones can board.
We don't get people in and out gradually, we just do everything at once.
And every room is turned over.
As you may imagine, it's a big job to clean 2,759 rooms.
On turnaround day, trucks carrying 500 pallets of new inventory arrive at the Port of Miami, the busiest cruising port in the world. Among these provisions, over 600,000 pounds of food and beverages that get loaded on to Deck 2.
This is basically a place that you would not like to be on turnaround day when we are loading. It's busy, super busy.
It's estimated the top 3 cruise lines in the world will spend an estimated $2.3 billion on food and drink in 2023. Supplies have to be perfectly planned for this 7-day cruise.
Our ability to manage the things with our own resources needs to be much bigger than in a hotel where at sea, there's no option.
And all this has to be loaded onto the ship in just 9 hours.
Any delay in our operation can hamper the sail away of the ship, which is again a big logistic requirement.
By 4:30, the ship is ready to set sail. Moving the ship is a combined effort between the bridge and the engine control room. The bridge handles steering and navigating.
Maybe only 10% of my job is being on the bridge, having control of the ship. The rest of it, I'm managing a huge operation.
And the engine room provides the power.
I always say that when there's a problem on board, the captain calls me, I never call the captain.
4 bow thrusters move the front of the ship side to side, and 3 electric Azipod propellers turn 360 degrees to pull the ship instead of push it. 6 giant engines power it all.
We have everybody on board, then he will request to have propulsion and start the thrusters and get ready for departure. So the engines are almost ready. So we have 1 and 6 online.
Now Captain Sullivan can maneuver out of the port.
Here we are on the bridge in the cockpit. This is where we do the navigation at sea. We've got multiple displays giving us information about the ship, what the course, the speed, the heading is. We have an electronic chart display with our routes already planned, and we can see exactly where we are at any time.
Symphony of the Seas is registered and sails under the flag of the Bahamas. Because of the Passenger Services Act of 1886, no foreign flag ships can move passengers between 2 U.S. ports. To avoid the $200 per passenger fine, any Royal Caribbean ship leaving the U.S. has to stop at another country. Since this cruise is headed to Puerto Rico from Miami, they had to slip St. Martin and the Bahamas into the itinerary. On the other side of the ship, passengers are getting settled into their rooms. Ocean View cabins started $1,000 per person for the week, going up to $85,000 for the tricked-out Ultimate Family Suite.
We have a room for every wallet on this ship. Everything good? Amazing, huh?
Meaning hotel manager Fernando Jorge has to cater to all kinds of tastes.
If you put this jacket on with 4 stripes, you'll be a celebrity too.
Cruise lines bank on the fact that they have a captive audience for a week. They make their profit from keeping passengers moving through the ship, dropping cash on onboard purchases, like alcohol, casino games, and specialty restaurants. Fernando says the ship's design helps. On conventional cruise ships, there's only one block with a big pool in the middle. This ship has 7 distinct neighborhoods with their own themes and activities. A big central park sits in the middle, and 17 public and private pools and hot tubs dot the rest of the ship. The average cost to build a new ship is $650 million. Royal Caribbean spent more than double that on the Symphony of the Seas. Fernando's goal is to control how passengers move through the ship, from their rooms to shows to dining halls, so no one part is too overcrowded.
They move around freely to their own will and doing what they want, but we, up to a certain extent, the flow is designed that at any given point you do not feel that you are with another 6,500 people on board.
The ship's design also helps in isolating zones in case of an emergency and controlling COVID-19. Passengers that test positive for COVID can be quarantined down on Deck 3.
So this is a COVID quarantine. You guys on Deck 3. Thing is, they leave these disinfectant bottles. All our trash in these biohazard bags. Our meals, our room service, anything like that, we put it in those bags. Hand sanitizer, masks. When you have COVID, they send you to the cabin. Room service is pretty much complimentary, so they are not directly handing you the food. They're putting it down and then you pick it up and stuff like that.
In December 2021, 50 people on board tested positive for COVID. They were able to isolate in their cabins. Every crew member is trained on COVID procedures and sailing safety. Royal Caribbean is incorporated in Liberia. Labor laws there are a lot looser than in mainland United States or Europe. It allows Royal Caribbean to hire a crew from all over the world and keep them working long hours for 3 to 12-month contracts. Half of the staff is part of Fernando's culinary team. Their job? Feeding all those passengers their 3, 4, 8 meals a day.
You have to calculate that it's breakfast, lunch, and dinner, plus snacks, plus at night, plus all 24-hour food all around, and that never stops.
Ship kitchens run 24/7, manned by a culinary team of more than 1,000 people. They dish out over 30,000 meals every single day, and they do it all from compact kitchens on a rocking ship. So how does all this food make it to the plate? Jared's in charge of ordering all the food for the ship's 23 different restaurants. Every week, Jared's got a $1 million shopping budget. All of that is just for 7 days of food. Sometimes Jared will tweak his orders based on who's coming aboard. More kids means more chicken fingers.
That's how the operation runs. So we monitor it on a daily basis, what has been used, what has not been used, and then we adjust our orders accordingly. But by and large, being in Miami, having the same number of people, it's almost the same every cruise.
Once on board, everything is moved along the ship's secret highway. This is I-95, and it runs the entire length of the ship, on Deck 2.
We separate all the stores to the different locations that they are supposed to go. We have about 20 different storerooms divided into freezers, fridges, walk-in fridges, and rice stores.
Seafood, meat, vegetables, and fruit are all divided and stored in separate fridges.
If you come towards the end of the cruise, this box will be almost empty with a few fruits that are needed for 2 more days, which we keep as backup stock.
There are also 6 freezers. That's where the 700 pounds of ice cream that'll be eaten each week are stored. Dry goods are stored down on Deck 1.
Full of spices, full of chocolate in this storeroom. Coffee. It's nice to be in this storeroom.
An elevator gets the food downstairs. Jared's team checks all of the food for quality control every day. If produce is ripening faster than expected, they try to work it into another meal. For example, overripe broccoli could go into broccoli cheddar soup instead of being tossed. Once inventory is stored, restaurants on upper decks put in food orders with Jared. Chefs will come downstairs, pick up their order, and cart it away to be cooked. That's where this guy comes in.
Any food on board this beautiful ship, anything you eat it, is my responsibility. Wherever you have beautiful potato fry, it's mine. Rice is mine. Pate is mine. Pastry is mine. Salad, shrimp, wherever you eat it, it's my responsibility.
Rijo's team of 280 chefs run the kitchens 24/7. Each chef works 10 to 12-hour days. Contracts typically last 4 months without a single day off.
Some of the people start to working for 8 o'clock in the morning, all the way to 2 o'clock, take a break, come back again 5 o'clock, finish by 9:30. Then another group start to working 10 o'clock in the night, all the way to 10 o'clock in the morning. So we cover day and night productions.
Chefs on board cook up nearly 100 different menus every week. All the menus are developed at Royal Caribbean's Miami headquarters. And every week, chefs stick to the same rotation of menus, cooking up everything from racks of lamb to hand-rolled sushi. The food has to be diverse to match Symphony of the Sea's international passengers, vacationing at all kinds of price points.
We try to please everybody and to make sure that everybody find what you're looking for.
All the cooking happens in 36 kitchens, or galleys as they're called on a ship. There are 12 specialty restaurants on board, costing up to $50 a person. And each of those restaurants has its own small galley. In those tight quarters, chefs crank out the same menu every day. At Jamie's Italian, it's fresh pasta. At Hooked, it's over 2,000 oysters, shucked per cruise. But the largest amount of food is reserved for the main dining room, which spans 3 decks and serves up to 6,000 people a night. Eating here is included in your ticket. Before food heads up to the main galleys, it starts in one of the prep kitchens, off I-95. There's a butcher shop.
Butcher, good morning. Yes, sir. These are the gentlemen looking after all the meat cuts.
The butcher goes through about 15,000 pounds of beef and 9,700 pounds of chicken each week. There's also a veggie cutting room and a fish thawing box. Lobster is the most popular dish in main dining. The ship goes through about 2,100 pounds of lobster tails every week. Finally, the food heads upstairs to the main galley. The ship's biggest kitchen is broken down by categories: desserts, bread, cold food, and hot food. In dessert, chefs whip up cakes, chocolates, and 100 different types of pastries. Over in the bread bakery, they make 40 different kinds of bread from all over the world, all from scratch. But the real hustle comes just before the dinner rush. 6,000 hungry passengers in the main dining room. Remember Rijo? Before dinner prep starts, he has to approve all the dishes.
Good afternoon. How are you, chef? Good.
Rijo tries each dish and gives his critiques.
We're gonna put a little bit more Pernod, a little bit more garlic, a little bit more herbs. Very, very good. So this is what we're looking for. Aioli. Aioli, we need to put a little bit more for today. Huh? You can see, chef, how we look. Huh? Take a note, don't forget. Huh? That's what we're talking about, right? Beautiful, beautiful. We don't have any challenge, so we're ready to go. Chef, thank you so much, and thank you so much, and look forward to have a beautiful night tonight. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.
Chefs take his notes and get cooking. Chefs can see a tally of each dish ordered up on screens. The system also keeps track of how much inventory is used. In the cold room, salads and appetizers like carpaccio come together. In the hot room, chefs dish out soups, sauces, sides, and mains.
We have 2 kinds of chefs. Chefs working here on the line, which is close to me, plating up, and chefs on the stove cooking. So everything we do is in batch cooking. So basically, we grill a steak there, we pass it over to the pass. The person on the pass is plating it up to the requested temperature. That means always that the guests are getting fresh food, and from an operational point, we don't have any overproduction.
Finally, waiters deliver those dishes to hungry passengers out in main dining. Between the chefs, inventory crew, waiters, and dishwashers, it takes a team of 1,085 people to keep this massive operation going. Together, they cook nearly 11 million meals each year, and they're doing it all on a moving ship.
The ship is rocking, then all the equipment is built to the ship rocket. Then in whatever moment, maybe the ship move, somebody don't put one brake in one trolley, and you see the trolley flying away. And happen. That's why all the cooks always be the attention with that.
But if crew members are doing their job right, passengers won't even know any of it's happening. They'll just get back to eating their 8th meal of the day. What happens to all that leftover food and other waste on the ship? Well, it's handled by the ship's waste management team. But there aren't any garbage trucks here to scoop it up and take it away. We're at sea, obviously. And since waste can't and shouldn't just be dumped in the ocean, well, what do cruise ships do with all of it? This is something the industry's been dealing with for years.
Carnival Cruise Line is coming clean about polluting oceans.
Princess Cruises was fined $40 million in 2016 for illegal dumping, and Carnival got hit with a $20 million fine in 2019 for disposing of plastic waste in the ocean.
Carnival Corporation's issues really brought the need for better technology so that these ships can operate more efficiently.
Cruise lines have been working on systems to purify water and deal with waste inside ships.
Up until now, these types of options weren't available.
All this tech was custom built for the Symphony of the Seas. The company says it's a zero landfill ship, which means it uses everything from recycling to water filtration to deal with its own waste. And this guy is in charge of making sure no single water bottle is unaccounted for.
Welcome to Waste and Recycling Center.
We're down on Deck 2, that secret crew-only area of the ship. Crew members check all the ship's trash cans for recyclables and bring them down here for Alex's team to handle. Despite being the only waste facility on this massive ship, it's surprisingly quiet. Alex said the busiest time is in the morning, when things are unpackaged for the day.
This is the waste streams that we have. Every waste stream has its own way of handling it.
There are separate teams to deal with each incoming recyclable: glass, cardboard, plastic, and metal.
This is our incinerator room. So we have 2 incinerators, 1 and 2. This area is manned 24 hours a day. We have 10 crew members who are working here, 5 in the morning and 5 in the evening.
Crew members separate glass into colors: green, brown, and white.
See, this is the byproduct of it after we crush it.
They can process upwards of 13,000 pounds of glass for a week-long cruise. All the small glass pieces are stored in bins until the ship docks. Plastic goes through this massive compactor. Even though the ship's gotten rid of plastic straws, it still relies on bottled water, because for health and safety reasons, no cruise ship is allowed to have water fountains. So every week, they crush about 528 gallons of water bottles.
We are compacting the cardboard over there.
Throughout the day, cardboard is stacked up in this machine, called a baler. Once it's full, it's all compressed into bundles. And used aluminum cans, well, they're sent through this baler. The machine squeezes them down into big cubes, which are then stored in a fridge just off the waste room.
This area is actually for the items that can produce smell, the garbage.
And that smell could get pretty bad. The waste is stored for up to 7 days at a time, until the ship docks back in Miami, where all the plastic, aluminum, paper, and glass go to recycling partner facilities. In 2018, Royal Caribbean recycled 43.7 million pounds of waste. And any rebates earned from these recycling programs go back to the Employee Retirement Fund. The cruise line is hoping that it's a nice incentive for employees to bring recycling down from their own crew cabins. So what about things that can't get recycled? For example, food. Every week, the ship loads up 600,000 pounds of provisions. But for the food that's not eaten, well, the company had to figure out how to get rid of all of that, too. Each one of the ship's restaurants and 36 kitchens has its own suction drain. Chefs and waiters keep food scraps in separate buckets. Then, once they've gotten enough, they place it all in this special drain. All the food waste ends up in one big pipe that runs through the entire ship. And that pipe leads to what's known as the hydroprocessor.
Those pipes over there, so these were the food waste is passing through. This is being processed through here.
This machine has a bunch of tiny layers of mesh to break down the food.
It's being stored in our tank. We have 2 tanks of comminuted food waste.
And the final step, incineration. Now let's talk about your toilet waste. Yep, we're gonna go there. It's all part of the water treatment system on board, controlled from the engineering room.
All the wastewater that we are generating on board the ship is being collected. Nothing goes overboard unless we have run it through a treatment plant.
Water is divided into 2 categories: gray water, from sinks, laundries, and drains, and black water. That includes everything from the galleys and your toilets, including your urine.
This is then being mixed together and run through the advanced wastewater purification plant.
The purification system purifies the water to a point above the US federal standard, which is almost safe to drink.
And then it runs several filtration processes before it's being kept on board or it's being discharged overboard when we are at sea with a certain distance from land in order to meet the different local and international regulations.
And onboard filtration systems produce about 150,000 liters of drinkable water every hour, pulled right from the sea.
So we are basically self-supplied with fresh water.
That's definitely within their best interest to be the most environmentally friendly because it significantly can reduce the waste on board, the weight that they have to carry, the fuel usage, and it reduces our operational expenses as well.
While we don't know exactly how much fuel Symphony uses, it's been reported an earlier Oasis-class ship, Harmony of the Seas, could burn up to 66,000 gallons of diesel a day. That's the equivalent of 600 cars driving from New York City to Los Angeles. Symphony is more efficient than older ships because of its advanced bubble technology. It releases air bubbles under the hull to help the ship glide more easily across the water, reducing drag and fuel consumption. And engineers like Stig can also capture excess heat coming off 6 engines too.
To heat up potable water, we're heating up the pools, we are heating up the fuel tanks on board.
Those diesel engines also generate all the ship's power.
Which is about the same size as producing power for a little city of about 80,000 people. All the lamps you see throughout the entire ship, all the power supplies on every single stateroom and venues. Then we have all the air conditioning, including all the provisioning plant where we store all the food.
And if any part breaks, workshops hidden next to the engineering room handle it.
We have mechanical workshop, we have electrical workshop, we have workshop for the hotel maintenance team. And parts that we cannot easily get hold of or we need urgent, we fabricate the parts on board.
But crews on board don't just run the ship's grid and engines. There are hundreds of other jobs, from manning the surfer machine and zip lines to entertaining guests. There are ice shows, Broadway-style plays, and an aqua performance. We followed one performer for a day to see how she dazzles cruisegoers every single night.
Hi, I'm Ariana Mazzagatti. I go by Maz here in the Royal Caribbean world. I am the aerialist for the show Hero on the Symphony of the Seas, and I am also the aqua captain.
Royal Caribbean hires serious athletes. They get paid to perform in productions around the world in front of millions of cruisegoers. But the job isn't always easy. Performers work 11 months straight without a single vacation day, and they do it all on a moving stage in the middle of the ocean.
That is the biggest thing to get used to, is the rock of the ship. When you're going to do a jump and you expect the floor to be here, but the floor is here, or the floor is here.
To bring her powerful character to life, Maz is strapped into a 3D flying apparatus that allows her to flip and run above the crowd, with only wires holding her up. Maz is American, and a cast of performers from all over the world. And they're all accomplished athletes, professional slackliners, Olympic-level divers, and world-renowned martial artists. Like many of her fellow castmates, Maz never planned on being a cruise ship performer. On a whim, she tried out for Royal Caribbean her junior year of college, and beat out thousands of others for a spot.
It's as difficult to get into a ship show as it is to get into a Broadway or a West End or a Cirque du Soleil show.
And in 2015, Maz got the call from Royal Caribbean. She dropped out of college and has been performing on cruise ships ever since. After getting a role in Hero, the show's performers head to Royal Caribbean's training facility in Florida. This is where they spend 2 months learning and perfecting the routine. Then they're off to sea. Their stage? The tricked-out Aqua Theater. It's made up of the deepest pool at sea, with a transforming bottom, 30-foot diving towers, a trampoline, and tightropes suspended above the crowd. The new digs take some getting used to.
You're brought from those plain gray studios with mirrors into this, and you're relearning everything because it all changes. The water, the weight of the costumes, the quick changes backstage, the makeup changes, the hair changes. It adds so many new elements that you could not even dream of during rehearsals.
Finally, they're performing live at the 600-person theater.
It takes about maybe 2 or 3 weeks to get into the zone and to feel 1000%. You're not so stressed anymore.
Throughout her contract, Maz and her castmates will do this routine hundreds of times. The performers don't get a single vacation day during their run. Trips home are only allowed in the case of an emergency. They typically perform 8 shows a week. Before any performance, Maz usually hits the gym for about an hour. Then she comes to the theater to run a safety test on the 3D flyer. The flyer is made up of a harness and 4 sets of wires connected to the ship. The technology is pretty complex and can move her on 4 axes. But the tech is proprietary to Royal Caribbean, so we couldn't get too close. After Maz is all set on the wires, she stretches, then heads downstairs to the secret 4.5 deck of the ship to put on her makeup and get into costume. Maz and her castmates do all their own makeup. Once the show starts, Maz stays hidden through the opening. Then she quietly climbs on a platform at the back of the audience, while a crew member straps her into the harness.
The harness is very tight so that I do not fall out. So the pain is necessary. I can't necessarily say you get used to it because every day it might be in a different spot, so you're just bruising a new spot.
The flying mechanism already has a routine programmed into it. So once a crew member hits a button in the production box, she soars above the crowd. While suspended, Maz uses her body to control her flips and spins.
If I get too turned to the front, or if my arm is out of place, or if my chin is forward, it'll send me rocking back and forth like this, and I'll never be able to control it back because it just sends you. And once you get a pull in the wire, it'll just keep going.
But that's not the only challenge. Remember, they're performing at sea. If it's windy, she's blown around.
If it's rocking, sometimes the wires will pull harder on one side, so I have to work around and be able to preemptively move my body in a way that if I know a rock is coming, I have to put more on one side than the other so that I can even out myself with the rock.
All these things affect other aqua performers too. A bob in the ship could affect the balance of a tightrope walker. If it's rocky, where a diver hits the water could be totally different from where they intended to when they left the platform.
If the ship's moving a little bit, rocking a little bit, and the water is going from one side to the other, we call the bridge, and at times, to make sure that the show happens, the captain moves the ship a little bit.
If conditions are too bad, say high winds or a rainstorm with lightning, they'll postpone the performance.
Every day is an absolute adventure, whether that be a difficult adventure, you're tired, we work a lot, we have safety duties that I don't think a lot of people necessarily even realize. We have so many more duties than just coming out and performing.
Now, Royal Caribbean wouldn't share how much performers are paid. In 2019, it was reported that some lower-paid crew members could make around $20,000 annually. Performers get health insurance while they're employed on the ship and free housing on board. They live in the crew quarters on the lower decks.
We have roommates, so 2 live to a cabin. There are a few who have their own cabin, and then as Aqua Captain, I get my own cabin.
Royal Caribbean wouldn't show us the crew quarters. The life below deck is well documented on social media. Crews have their own mess hall, grocery store, and even their own dance club. Performers can use the passenger gym, eat at the reservation-only restaurant, and swim in the pools. All things no other crew members are allowed to do.
I will do this until my body physically cannot move.
In 2022, cruise lines were hit with staff shortages. Norwegian and Cunard even had to cancel sailings. Shortages or not, this staff, from the bridge to the kitchen to the waste room, have to move efficiently if the cruise line is going to keep a ship this size sailing smoothly. By the following Saturday at 6 a.m., the captain expertly guides the ship back into the port of Miami. They'll unload everything and everyone and prepare to do it all over again.